Hey, my overlay stuck. I'm actually impressed. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Symphony. Symphony Entertainment, Gaming, and Arts is my gaming company that focuses on horror systems, indie games, organic content, and player agency in an attempt to bring a symphonic approach to horror role-playing. I am your host, Bridgett Jeffries, but tonight I am not going to be your GM because we have the amazing Gentz here. We'll get to him in just a second. But we are back with our Symphony Sonatas. That's right, for the entire month of Symphony. Thank you, Bucho, for the idea. We're going... that might have been Chris Bates, actually. One of these symphonites come up with better ideas than I do, and that's why we're here. For the entire month of September, we are doing Symphony Sonatas. What is a symphony sonata? Listen, we're still trying to figure it out as well. Basically, what it is 60 minutes of improvised horror. I can't tell you what's going to happen because not knowing is honestly the part of the fun. So if you're watching live, like some of our amazing symphony fans are, hop in, join the chat, inform the chaos, throw out your ideas, your commentary, and chances are Graham may or may not incorporate it. It is going to be his game and his run, and we're going to rock out from there. One quick announcement. Symphony Entertainment does have a Patreon. So if you like this content and you would like to help us make more of it, please consider backing us on Patreon at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. So guys, I'm so excited. I love Graham. Okay, so without further ado, let us unveil this cast. Cast members, damn it, tell us who you are, some of the things you can do, where people can find you, anything you want to share about your pets, where you are, how long you've been streaming. If you got physical product, hold it up. Let's get sexy. And we're going to start it off with tonight's GM, Graham, who I got to meet at Gen Con. Talk to us, baby. Hit us.
Hi, everybody. My name is Graham Gentz. I use he and they pronouns. I'm a facilitator, a writer, and a game designer. I've been playing and encouraging good culture in the industry for a very long time now. And I'm so excited this is the form that role-playing has taken now, where you hang out with people and you share in communities, particularly micro-communities on places like Discord. The project I've been working most diligently on is called Under the Autumn Strangely. It's a pastoral horror game of our anachronistic Americana in a land that never was. Amy, who's here, has been one of my playtesters and has played the game, and it will come out physically to all of its backers in October, in spooky season. I'm very, very excited about that. Other things that I've been so proud to be a part of, I've been a stretch goal on a queer witch game called Witches of Midnight, and yes. I'm also on the current Wedding Games slate of designers, where I'm going to be making a fake occult magazine based on a real occult magazine, which was called The Occult Review, which was a real thing that actually was in London and distributed. So I'm going to write a fake version for the Never Going Home universe. I am so excited to be doing that. And I'm going to be prepping this game here. I have not prepped a single thing. I happily will take stuff from the chat, setting, ideas, inspiration, which is why, before we get there, I would love to hear a little about Amy. Amy, take it away.
Hey, my name is Amy Tate. My pronouns are she, they. I actually found out about Symphony Entertainment from Grant, who I also got to meet in person at Gen Con. The game is so good, Under the Autumn Strangely. It is making me love horror games even more. Highly recommend. I myself demo at board game cons for different companies right now, and most recently I've been with Modifius, so shout out Modifius.
Hey!
Yeah. I also am an editor for Desks and Dorks. Kyle Ott is the designer for that. We will be having a very cool 2-player RPG coming out to Kickstarter sometime later this year, called You've Always Lived at the Lighthouse. That is so creepy, so good. I'm so ready. Yeah, like thousands of comments in the Google Docs because it's so amazing. I have to make it even more better with commas and stuff. So this is my first time live streaming, so my look of terror is mostly because of Graham's terrifying things he's going to scare us with, but also a little bit because I'm a little scared. So, but thank you again for the opportunity to do this. I'm so excited.
We're so excited to have you. In the pregame, I was like, oh my God, I love this person. Their energy is everything. And this makeup, it has my toes curling. I'm super excited about life. Guys, due to this being purely improvised content, I am not able to offer content warnings. My apologies, but I have polled the cast and crew for the red line. So Graham has all of that. Amy and I have our red lines. We understand what can be discussed, what cannot. Cast also understands that the X card is in play. X's can be sent via private message or via Zoom. If an X is called, no judgment passed, no questions asked. And of course, my personal favorite safety tool that Symphony implements is the green, yellow, red traffic method. So if at any point someone calls for a color check, we stop, we check our colors, and then we rock out from there. That is enough of me talking. Let's hop into the content. I'm going to hand it over to our guest GM, Graham. It's all yours, baby. I'm in the player seat.
All right. So if I had something tattooed on my forehead, it would be prep is death. I believe very thoroughly that prep is the death of good role-playing games, because when you over prep, you're actively subjecting the story upon the players. The players are not empty vessels to be filled. They are not passive. One of the great things about role-playing games as a medium is that you are audience and participant at the same time. The line is obliterated. So as a good facilitator, you're not just telling a story, you're creating good table culture, you're listening to the players. What is exciting about this kind of style is that when all of you enter into the room and sit down together, you may not know the kind of story that you want to tell before you're already telling it. You're doing that as you go along. That is your role as a role player and as a player. And the hierarchy should be as thin as possible. Everyone is here to do this. So with that in mind, I have prepped nothing, and I'm excited to see what Bridgett's excited about, what Amy's excited about, and what the chat is. So let's start very generally. Let's go with a setting, either a time period, a place, a theme, anything that you want. You can drop down to the chat. Bridgett and I will look at it. If there's anything that's been kind of clawing around in the back of your mind, is there a place that you've always wanted to see a game set but never have? Or a favorite one that you'd like to return to because you get to iterate on it? I'm going to look to see what the chat says, but Bridgett and Amy, if you were to pitch some settings, some times, some places, some contrasts, what comes to mind initially? Especially if it's like, you know what, I've never done this and always wanted to. Oh my God, it's the perfect opportunity to be able to do stuff like that.
Oh.
Ooh.
Amy, you in the mood for anything in particular? What's your palette saying? We've got a few good ideas in chat. I've already seen Graham.
I was going to say, I mean, Victoria London,
It's
Far
sexy.
Future Utopia.
Sexy.
So sexy.
Yeah.
Sexy as fuck.
I'm going to throw out something cold. Antarctica or something where there's snow and ice and super frigid temperatures. I'm just going to throw that out. That feels warm and fuzzy right now because it's 170,000 degrees outside.
I have a blanket.
Yes! Okay. Oh, rom-com horror. Ooh.
Rom-com horror. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
I like cold. Again, anything with contrast, anything where you can look for these differences and then find them. That's how you start building themes. That's how you start building character, is when you can find the contrast. So Antarctica, love that. The far frozen wastes of northern Canada, Siberia, Arctic Circle, all that stuff.
I want to befriend a moose.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that we are in far northern, the Canadian wilderness. Why we're there, we're going to figure that out. If there's much there, we're going to figure that out.
Somebody said
I like the
moose rom-com. The moose is how we have a meet cute, obviously.
Moose rom-com. That needs to be on a t-shirt. I'm so sorry, Graham.
No, you're great. This is all the game. See, you think we're prepping, but we're already playing. See, that's the secret sauce. That's the secret sauce right there. So I like isolated northern wilderness, far, far north in Canada, to the point in which like barriers and political boundaries are irrelevant.
Oh, yeah.
And I like the rom-com angle, I like that because, again, we're looking at contrast. So this is what we're going to be trying to build. So what I want from both of you is to think of a character name.
Okay.
Pronouns.
Okay.
And a general physical description. And then a want. I want your character to want something. And it can be anything. It can be a glass of water. It can be revenge. It can be to see an albino moose. It can be to fall in love. But the way that you get momentum, particularly in these characters, you don't want a character that when in the tennis match that is role playing, you don't want to be stuck at that moment, the all important moment of what do you do? I don't know. If your character doesn't want anything, then it can't be driven forward. Your character can't go define stuff. So name, pronouns, a very general
that.
physical description. Think short, think punchy. It doesn't have to be elaborate, but just enough because we're all looking to create this cooperative hallucination. We're all going to be hallucinating the same thing simultaneously. That's the exciting part. And because we're not in each other's minds, we want to be communicating the physical details that are going to place us all in the same place as we go. And then finally, what does your character want?
That
Either one of you
one
have
is
a name.
A great tee up,
Yeah.
by the way. That's phenomenal. I'm going to steal that, by the way. You'll see that in all
Do it.
future sonatas. Thank
Do
you,
it.
Graham.
You can steal that, and you can steal the ritual that I'm going to jump on you, which is going to be how we're going to enter into the game. I haven't said that part yet either.
I didn't
But
hear
one
it.
of my favorites, one of my favorite ways to enter into the space. So what are you thinking in terms of name, age, description? Where your head's at right now?
Bridgett, can you go first?
I got you, baby. I 100% got
Okay.
you. So I am going to go with... Oh, Graham is such a talented storyteller. I really do kind of want to take his previous advice and go somewhere that I haven't gone before and just really stretch myself for this hour.
Absolutely.
So yeah. All right. So what I am going to do is, do we have an era? Like, is this 1920s? Is it modern day? Is it, do you care?
We haven't.
Okay.
And so either we keep it vague, which is always good for horror,
I like
especially
this.
if you play something like Under the Autumn Strangely, in which time is a bit
Yes.
wobbly, or if either one of you say, this is what I want, boom, it's done. And it is established for the game. Both of you have a lot of narrative power, and I'm going to yes and you all the way to the finish line.
This is
So if you have a
sexy.
feeling, Bridgett, absolutely establish something, and we will go with you.
You know what? We're going to make you work. I'm going to keep it vague on my end, unless Amy, do you have a preference on era?
No. Let's
Okay,
do
so-
vague and make Graham do it.
I love it. So if at some point I pull out a cell phone, we'll at least have a time frame on where we are. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll make Graham work. I love it. Okay, so I am going to be playing Daryl Whiting is what I'm going to go for.
Daryl Whiting.
Daryl Whiting. This is a very rail thin African-American male that has very dark skin with brown eyes, and he has like this whole bundle of black dreads that he has tied and pulled back. He is very neat. He is very manicured. Daryl is kind of like that quiet one that you don't really take notice of until he speaks, and at that point he kind of can take over the room. But you have to get him to the point where he actually cares enough to actually step out, because he's actually inherently very shy. Daryl uses, effective immediately, the pronouns for they, them. Daryl is wherever we are right now because they want to witness. I almost said photograph, but I'm not even going to give us that yet. They want to witness. I'm not even going to give you that, Graham. I'm going to make you work, damn it. They want to witness an albino moose. Graham teed that up. So I am going to stick with the majestic albino moose, but not for necessarily scientific purposes, not necessarily for research purposes. Daryl is operating off of either a religious ideology or something that was passed down from an oral tradition from one of his grandparents, or a dream, something otherly that we may or may not explore in game, that he can learn vital information either about the past or the future if he comes across this albino moose. So he is chasing down this mysterious figure, this mythical creature. This not, I actually had to Google and I found pictures of an albino moose. There's some really creepy looking creatures. Because somehow encountering this albino moose will either allow them to see something they want in the future or the past. Does that work?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah,
course
that
it
works.
Okay.
Hell yeah. So it's Daryl Whiting, like.
Yeah,
Can you
like
say
the
the
fish.
last name again?
Yeah, whiting, like the fish.
Yeah.
That's the name of a fish, right?
Great.
It is? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There
Great.
we go. Okay.
I just
Daryl
want to make
Whiting.
sure I wasn't missing a syllable right in there. Great.
Listen, I might have
Thank
added
you,
one at the
Daryl.
last minute. You're
I
welcome.
can see Daryl very well. I have both a physical description, so now I've started to build the collective hallucination, and hopefully the audience, as well as the other players, are too. And I'm starting to feel their internal life, which means that we as players have something we can pull on, something that we can start to draw out and discover things that we didn't even know about Daryl. That's the exciting part. So,
Ooh, yes.
what do you got for me, Amy?
Okay. So, Arabella Whitney
Oh, nice.
Arabella Whitney?
She,
Holy
they
crap.
pronouns. Stick with me here.
This is
It's
good
like
already.
if Luisa from Encanto and Captain America, when he's ripping that log in half, had a baby. That's Arabella. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. They
I would very quickly like to introduce my personal favorite safety tool because it's one I came up with. We all know the X card, but there's an opposite of the X card. It's called the O card. The O card represents enthusiastic consent. It's also a way to encourage somebody without interrupting them. And so I'm going to make a big O. I'm making it an O for you because
yes.
Holy crap, that was an absolutely fabulous description of your character. Please continue, Amy. Tell me more about Arabella Whitney. Arabella Whitney.
Arabella has lived in these woods for a long time. I'm picturing like cottage cabin thing where I would like to go when I'm tired of people. That's what I'm picturing. Like good garden when it's like summer out, but most of the time, snow, books, knitting, being left the fuck alone. That's their jam, okay? So something that they want is to protect the forest from these people that keep wandering in and getting lost, and they're not wearing enough layers, and they're going to get frostbite, and she's very, very tired of having to go save their asses.
This is good. Oh, this is so
fabulous.
Good.
Did Arabella Whitney's pronouns are? You said them, but I was talking
she, they.
like a jerk. She, they. Excellent. She, they. Okay. Give us a physical description of Arabella Whitney so that we can all kind of start to see her physically. Again, this is a collective hallucination that we are building together.
Yeah. So, Louisa, Chris Evans had a baby. Dark hair in braids, definitely rocking the flannel, but they're not stupid. They've lived in this weather for a while. Like they have layers on, like they did the tight cotton close to your skin, layering up, creating those pockets of air to stay warm. Like their boots are used, right? They're not those fancy hiking boots that these newcomers keep coming in with. Like these are boots that have stood the test of time and protected them for a while. They have layers in their pants. Like they are an imposing figure in that they're tall and bigger and very strong and everything, but not necessarily like scary, grumpy, just kind of really tired of why do all these people keep walking into my woods?
Oh, I can't wait to play this. This is going to be good.
Awesome. All right. Wonderful. I believe I can see Arabella Whitney in my head. I believe I can see Daryl Whiting in my head. I think I have a good understanding of your internal personhood, what makes you you and what makes you tick. And you've already given me a lot of great ideas about where this is going to go, but I don't know fully. All I know is some direction. All I know is some momentum. We're going to discover this as we go. So, are both of you ready?
Yes.
We're going to do one last ritual to enter into the space. Okay. I normally do this at a table, and so I say, start it on my left. Of course, we don't have a physical space. So instead, Bridgett, I would like you to go first. So let's imagine you're on my left, and Whitney and Arabella Whitney, i.e. Amy, you're going to go second. So, start it on my left.
Okay.
I'd like you to say your character's name 3 times. First is yourself. Second, as your character thinks about what you most want. And finally, as your character says their own name. Whenever you're ready.
Ooh, interesting. Repeating the instructions. Bridgett just articulating the name in the voice of my character, envisioning something that they want, and then my character basically introducing themselves or just saying their name.
You got it.
Oh, this is great. Let me fumble the last name that Graham and I decided on, and I'm going to probably botch again. It's going to be great. The character is Daryl Whiting. Daryl Whiting. Daryl Whiting. Cool exercise, by the way, Graham. That's fun.
Yeah, I like that.
That is sexy. Oh, wait. Hold on.
Yeah, now we're talking. Oh, card. Oh,
Amy has
card.
it too.
Okay.
I know, like,
Uh, okay, as me, Arabella Whitney.
mhm.
Uh, Arabella Whitney. Arabella Whitney.
Y'all, Amy can role play her ass off. Y'all see that? All right, here we go. I'm ready.
Daryl, you have been traveling in this truck for hours and hours and hours. It has been many days since you saw any road signs that looked any familiar at all, and you found this last truck, and you sit shivering in the passenger's seat, doing your best to keep the conversation going with a very tight-lipped driver. The snow has been falling thicker and thicker, and seemingly, as you clutch your belongings, the driver seems to be going faster and faster. The truck is bumping out of control, and the snow is so thick you can't see the trees or the road, and you rumble on. How do you try to stir a bit of human warmth from this driver? What topic do you attempt to broach?
I'm personally okay with comfortable silences. I've always been okay with
Mm.
personal or uncomfortable silences. I prefer the comfortable ones. If I'm getting additional chill from this particular driver that I feel like the ball falls in my court to do something about it. I took a class in college. I didn't follow psychology, but I did take a class. It was one of those required ones that we have to have. And it said that 97% of people enjoy talking about themselves. So if I can't fill this cold silence with conversation about the terrain or the surrounding areas, I'll ask the individual about themselves. Maybe that'll bring them out. That's my last ditched effort before I just sit here and freeze and wonder why they're accelerating when I can barely see the road in front of me.
What do you say?
You have no Bridgett, you have no idea how cheesy I want to be. Like, so what's your favorite color? Seen any good movies lately? But I'm gonna make Graham work for the era. Do you enjoy making these type of trips with people like me?
Not really.
May I ask why you continue to do it? Your base rate isn't very high. You can't be making much doing this.
Nobody else here. The truck hits a rock, and you nearly crack your head on the top
Mm.
of the truck.
My apologies. Is there a reason why we are accelerating at this point?
The truck screeches to a halt.
Oh, they put their hands on the dash to try to like do the whole with the seatbelt can't hold. There
Mm-hmm.
you are.
You look over to see if an arm will come from the driver to protect you from the sudden deceleration. None comes.
None comes. Okay. Apologies if I have offended you. I am very sorry. That was not my intent.
No more road. This is it. You gaze around, looking out the windshield and size windows, and it looks exactly the same as it has for hours. You see the faint outline of trees and thick, cold, white snow falling in all directions.
Thank you. Um, what time will you meet me here tomorrow?
Same time, right here, end of the road.
Thank you. Have a very pleasant and a safe journey back to wherever it is that you're going. Then I am going to get the hell out of this car. I am going to get out of this vehicle. Actually, let me say vehicle because other than I love Graham's, your storytelling is great. I'm going to get out of this vehicle. I am going to pull my backpack out of the back of this vehicle. My feet hit the snow. I'm going to look around and I'm going to pull out this map that I have that should give me some idea of at least where my next checkpoint is.
You step out of the rusted brown truck. Could have been red long ago. Really, it's any mishmash of indeterminate colors at this point. Long since been repaired or given any kind of love. And right as you're about to shut the door, for the first time in your journey, the driver looks at you and holds your look in the eyes. Best be careful out here. People get lost. Don't come back.
I'll do my best. Then I'll meet you here where the road ends at the same time tomorrow.
And he starts to pull away, even though the door is not closed.
If I'll reach out and flip it with the very edge, the tip of their gloves will flip that door close.
So one of the great things about sonatas, there's no dice rolls, there's no nothing. It's what you think happens. So this is the point where I probably have a decision point, but I want to ask you, Bridgett, as a player, as a writer of our story, does Daryl successfully close the door?
Yeah, that door closes.
That door closes. It closes with a satisfying click. The truck peels out donuts at the end. If there was a road here, you certainly can't see it, and carries off in another indeterminate direction. You hope it's the road, because you can't see anything at all except the snow falling thicker and heavier every minute. What do? It's very cold.
I purchased as much gear as I could to make sure that I was prepared for this journey. I may have still under-prepared, which isn't like me, but I underestimated how cold it could get out here. But I'm going to attempt to find my first landmark. I have this map. I know where the end of the road is, allegedly. If this is where that gentleman says we are, that is where we are. I should be able to find my first landmark. What is this? 43 degrees north and half a mile that direction. If that's correct, we'll go that direction.
You take off. You begin walking. You can't see the sun. Trees look the same, and you're shivering more and more. What kind of gear are you wearing? What kind of clothing are you wearing to keep you warm?
There's a couple layers underneath. You have the thermos that are tied in. You have the secondary layer. You have the windbreaker layer. And then you have like your heavy overcoat. All of it is new. They are from somewhere that's not this type of weather. So unfortunately, to Arabella's irritation, this is one of those people that comes out there and hopes they know what they're doing and maybe do or maybe don't. But they are equipped with the necessary equipment that they need. So their camera, their digital camera, to make sure that they can capture this experience. Their voice recorder to interview any other individuals that may have come in touch or come in contact with this experience. A compass, his cell phone. But at this point, that flip phone is not going to catch a tower out here. So
hey, all right. You pull out your flip phone and you flick it a couple times and there isn't an ounce of juice left.
It was a very long drive up here. Okay. I have a watch, I have a compass, and I have faith. Between the three of those, maybe we'll make it.
Your clothing slowly starts to fail you. You shiver more and more. You clutch at the compass trying to determine where north is, but you can't get the needle to settle. It's not going wild. It's not sticking out, but every time you hold it, it moves a little bit, and you hold it still, it moves a little bit more. It just won't stop shaking. You look back at the map, you compare the 43 degrees, you repeat that same instructions over and over in your head. You look up, and things are getting a little darker and much, much colder. What do?
We have to stay the course. I have to stay the course. I know when I'm coming out here and I have a lot riding on this. I have to stay the course. The compass isn't working. This isn't. I made a mistake. I'm underprepared. And that driver isn't coming back for 24 hours. I've made a mistake. And I'm going to try to wander back to the road almost absently because I didn't think to mark my path. I thought the compass would guide me. So I'm going to turn around and see if I can get back to the road.
You turn around and you begin to walk in the other direction, and the trees all look different. There's nothing that looks similar. You remember there being this huge oak, one that was struck by lightning and split in the middle. It's nowhere. You think you came around, but as you were struggling with the compass, trying to figure out where north was, did you turn to the left, too much, to the right? Which was it? You feel yourself from your stomach up, raising into your throat. Which way was the road again?
And where is that damn oak tree?
You don't see it.
Panic rises. And they start calling out. Maybe someone will hear them.
A minute passes. Then another. Then 10.
Why did I choose this terrain
then
again,
30.
guys? We walk in.
Time starts to get kind of wobbly as your body starts to lose heat and strength. And you slump through the snow. It's now past your knees. And you feel yourself getting kind of sleepy, Daryl. You're tired. What do you call out in character? Tell us how you call out.
Hello? Help! Marching. Hello? Can anyone hear me?
You take one crunching step through the thick snowdrift and it gets stuck. What do?
I can't panic. I'm going to slow everything down. I'm going to try to cool my nervous system off. And I'm going to sit here and try to work my foot out.
All right. Paint me a word picture. What does it look like?
It looks like him singing a song that his grandmother used to sing him. Very softly to himself. It probably carries beautifully on the wind. It's something that grounded him. It's something, or grounded them. It's something that brought them a sense of calm. So I'm going to sit down.
Can you give me a little bit of that song? Can you give me a little bit of that song, Bridgett?
Really? Why are you trying to get me to sing on stream here, Graham? What are you doing to me right now?
just a little hum or a tune, just a word or two. It's really about Daryl trying to center themselves. It's not about a performance. This is for you and you alone, right?
Yeah, it's you are always found. So it's him thinking about how heartbreaking those lyrics are in this particular moment, but it's you are always found. You are always found. You are always found, as they are going to sink into the snow and very, very slowly start pulling the snow away so they can get to see what it is that has their foot captured. Chat is going nuts over the O card right now.
And you look down and a sharp pang of pain rushes up through your leg as you realize Arabelle, how is it that you pass the time in the cabin?
Ooh, cliffhanger.
Uh, I like to knit. I also like to whittle. A lot of the cups and plates and utensils are actually, you can almost see the progression of skill. It's something I learned very young, but I still have a couple of those really, there's still some bark on it, there's knots. But I keep them because they matter. They're where I came from. There's something I need to remember. You know, it's progress, not perfection. See how much I've grown. Um, and I also,
Where do you keep your whittled things in the cabin?
um, like things I've finished with are put wherever they need to be. I imagine my ADHD ass, Amy's, just has project bags everywhere. So that's kind of what I'm picturing. Like there's like a block of wood that has the beginnings of what looks like a moose antler. And it's larger, like
Okay.
something like that on a side table by a couch that's like overstuffed with several blankets. Everything in this house is very much meant as a sanctuary from the cold, as like a safe place for Arabella to be, preferably just Arabella. I don't like sharing it with other people. uh but like there's little things, like I almost always have like a knife and something small in my pocket. um just little tiny, more whimsical than you would think from looking at me, projects scattered amongst the things.
So you have a moose antler sitting on a side table. What else? What else is in the cabin? Give me another whittle object.
Whittle.
Um, Whittle. Uh,
And if they're a whittle, if they're not big but they're whittle, I think the chat would appreciate if they're a whittle object.
They're whittle objects.
um, there's a Whittle kitty.
Okay. A whittle
That's
kitty. Where is the whittle kitty?
sitting on the mantle, and it's one of those projects that clearly was done early on in my whittling career, and it sits in front of a little shadow box that has a clipping of fur and a photo of a kitty with Smokey like written. It's not a fancy shadow box, but I tried, to remember this. It's clearly a memorial of a cat that was lost recently.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm truly alone for the first time in a while in this
It
cabin.
sits on the mantelpiece above the fireplace, which is only a few burning sticks left. You've been trying to conserve fuel, and so you can only really make a rather small fire that crackles away. Give me another object. What's another? We're gonna populate this cabin. Hit
Uh,
me with another one. What's another thing you've whittled?
and in one corner, not well done, and it seems pushed away out of frustration, a drop spindle that I appeared to have whittled myself and clearly unexpertly. The fluff that's being spun on it is not carded well. The yarn itself that's being created is lumpy. Like this is clearly a skill that I am attempting and not very good at, and I tried to incorporate something I'm better at with the whittling, but drop spindles have to be well weighted, and this one unfortunately is not.
It's a bit small. It's a bit lopsided. It doesn't quite sit right. But it was one of your first ambitious projects, and so you always have a particular fondness for it. The one thing you did nail is the point. The needle point is sickeningly sharp. Give me another one. What's another thing? Let's populate this
Like
cabin.
where you're going with the sickeningly sharp, Graham.
What are you talking about?
It too. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Something that seems more artistic than a lot of the other things. A lot of them are either things like the moose, where I'm working on like creating an animal or useful like utensils. I have this bowl that I'm working on that's on the dining room table, and a lot of stuff is shoved to the side. Like I just moved stuff to be able to sit down, and it starts as like a very solid block with like live edges, and then you can see that I'm carving and whittling away the center, but also it was part of a branch that comes up, and instead of like just taking off this branch, I've started working a way to almost make it like the fractal snow that you see on windows, and trying to like carve that snow that I see on my windows all of the time because I'm often snowbound here, as like a swirl around the bowl, utilizing that branch that comes out instead of chopping it away.
That's a good description.
It's a big piece and it dominates that area. Of these pieces, you're sitting next to the fire in your favorite chair, and you realize you're completely out of any whittling material. And you look down at the very last piece of yarn that you have, and it's nearly out. You're in the middle of a project, and one that will almost certainly not get finished.
Lost yarn
because
chicken.
You look down and you can see that the string of yarn is hanging to the side because you've reached the end of it.
So frustrating.
It is.
And you look from piece to piece to piece, all these different whittled objects around your cabin, and what they represent is the time that you've spent here. And you can see there's nary a surface that is not covered, crammed, overflowing with these little wooden fetishes that you've piled on and built to push time. Which do your eyes fall on? Which of these pieces do you stare at intently?
I think first the memorial to the cat. You know, my pet definitely created more interest and more things to do in the cabin. You know, she would curl up with me, but also we'd play. I knit her little mouse toys are stuck under the couch still, little catnip toys I knit. And then I think drifting over to the moose antler, and my eyes skip quickly away from it. It's almost like it's sitting right next to where I am, but somehow, you know, there's something about it that unsettles me. It's there in a way that I need to work on it, but I don't want to. And then my eyes go to the bowl. That's my ambitious project. That's what I should be wanting to work on right now, but I've been avoiding it.
As your eyes drift over the antler, they whip past the window that is set over it, that is almost completely frosted over. And through that window, you can hear the faint sounds of never alone, never alone. Give me a little more, Daryl. What's it sound like?
Never alone, always found. Never lost, always found. You're never alone, little Daryl. You're always found.
Arabelle, it's a whisper.
Not another
but it sounds
one.
like it's in the room with you right now. What do you do?
I swear I'm going to find that driver that keeps bringing people out here and kick their ass. And I walk over to the near my door, and there's like a wood bench. This is not something I carved. This is something that maybe somebody else that I know or something. It's very intricate and beautiful and above my level, but I start pulling on extra socks, and I pull on outer pants, and I put on inner gloves, and then I put on outer gloves, and then I reach into like a bag and grab those heat hand things that you shake, and then they warm because I know this asshole's probably gonna need something if they're not frostbit already. Just like, okay, I'm gonna go save this person. And I open the door, Um, and I don't even really look. It's almost like I'm just being led to where they are. This isn't the first time that somebody has been further away than they should have that I've heard them. And, you know, I'm annoyed by it and I don't question it. Not at this point. They'll just get louder and louder and louder until I go help them anyway. Might as well. Um, and my steps are very sure. Like I have wide boots, I have snowshoes packed strapped to the pack that I bring when I go out, just in case. Um, I'm just kind of mumbling and going, "Oh my god, not another person! I'm so tired of this." Sometimes I just want to sit and be alone and just very grumpy, but still doing it, still moving forward.
The song is deadly quiet. It's no louder than a whisper, but you can hear it perfectly. It carries through something over something as if it was right next to you, and all you have to do is follow the sound and walk and walk and walk. Before long, you can see a lump in the top of a snowbank off in the distance, next to a tree struck by lightning, split in half. And Daryl, as you reach down and you dig the snow out, reach in the sharp pain, you realize that your boot has been split open, frozen, and your toes hang out from the bottom, bruised, purple, and frostbitten.
Ooh.
They shake with the dying flesh of the cold exposure. What do you do?
You know that moment, and everyone can recognize this moment, when you've been holding it together, 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 and then you finally hit that break point? As I look down and I see my toes and I see my feet and I see myself in this moment, I hit that break point and I start crying. It's just too much in this moment, and everything that I've been carrying with me from the past up until this moment comes out right here. I don't even make an effort to put my foot out anymore because I don't know if anything matters other than how I feel in this moment. And I start crying.
Oh, please don't start that. You'll freeze your face and it'll be even worse for both of us.
There's somebody right behind you, Daryl.
Tears running down his face, that awkward, uncomfortable snot bubble that's like getting ready to like start forming. And I turn around and I look at you and I say, we're both alone and we won't ever be found. Thank you, Slightly Happy Rhino, for that.
Well, it's a bit more existential than I usually go for, but I've found you well enough right now. Dropped at the end of the road. You know he's not coming back for you, right?
You know, deep down inside, I know.
Here for the moose.
Does it even exist?
You'll never find her with your foot like that. Stay still. This is gonna hurt. And I'm gonna kneel right by their leg and pull out of my bag just like an extra like scarf and everything. And I'm gonna take like my whittling knife from my pocket and everything. And your boot is very stuck in there and split open and everything. And I was like, oh, what's your name?
Daryl. My name is Daryl Whiting, and I'm sorry I didn't even ask your name. What's your name?
Arabella Whitney. And I hold out a little piece of leather. Bite on this. This is not going to feel good.
And I take the piece of leather and I look you dead in your face. You're just as pretty as your name. And I bite down onto the leather.
Not usually the first thing people say when I ask them to do that. Okay, on the count of 3, and I put my arm around their leg, and then I go 1, and then I jab the knife into the wood and kind of basically rip their foot off the wood piece on the count of 2 because I'm a liar.
Bridgett, how many toes does Daryl lose?
I feel like 3 sounds wonderful. Actually, it's not 3, Graham. It's 2 and the tip of a third.
Two and a third. Crack, crack, crack. There's these sickening sound ripples through both of your eardrums, and your foot pops like a grape being ripped off the vine, popped right to the top of the snowdrift, and you can see 2 and 1 small, bruised, tiny, rippled little bits of you left, sitting in the pit in the snow.
I scream.
And I'm gonna lean over as I hold your leg real tightly. I don't want you to see this. You look away, Daryl. And I'm just gonna wrap the foot up pretty tightly. Like, you're not bleeding at this point because everything's a little too cold, but just to get it all wrapped up and everything like that, and kind of wrap up your leg. You only got 2 layers? Did you do research before coming out here?
Obviously not enough. No, not obviously not enough. At this point, let's just go ahead and move to like almost like that, not hysterical laughter, but that I have nothing else to give to this situation, so now it's funny.
Nervous laugher. Haven't had one of those in a while. Do you think you can stand up?
Yeah, I think so. I think I can stand up. It's
I'm gonna have what?
It's a her?
Yeah. She don't come out for most people. Not before they're dead, anyway. But anyway, I'm about to grab you. Sorry, but I don't think you can walk on your own right now. And like under your arms, like holding you, waiting a second. You know, I'm very brusque, but like I know how to do this. Not a total asshole. I just popped off 3 of your toes. They got to be kind of nice.
For some reason, Daryl, maybe it's the comfort of a human connection being lost and found, but the pain in your foot slowly starts to fade away. It's you breathing deep. You feel strong and supported by this new person emerging, and you start to slowly take long, deep breaths.
It doesn't hurt.
But there aren't any trees.
Oh, shit.
God damn it, not again. You took the toes. Can that be good enough right now?
There is one tree. There is one tree that's still there. The one split in half by lightning. But Daryl, as you stare out, it's an empty, white, flat void. And you clutch close next to Arabelle, under the shadow of the single tree.
God damn it. I hate when they do this. Got any ideas since you researched this?
No. I thought the moose would help me, would show me the one thing that I've always wanted, but at this point, I feel like I'm just a number in the conveyor belt to this forest.
Well, the forest will show you what you need, or at least it'll show you what you're willing to die for. Trying to make sure you don't do that, though. And I'm still holding them up on one hand. I'm gonna reach into the bag, like, do that awkward, and like pull out some of those heat things, crack them up with my teeth, shake them up, hand it over, put them in the back of your pants by your kidneys. It'll help. Don't want to warm up too fast.
There's a knock at the door.
Oh, fuck you, Graham.
Yep, that's about how I feel too.
Who is it?
The door is standing in the snow, connected to nothing, just there. And it slowly begins to open. And you hear a familiar song by a familiar voice, Daryl. You are never alone. You are never alone. Mama always could get that high note just right. You see a shape through the door. Huge, twice the size of a man. The outshine of a beast, and human, a single white antler on one side of its head. Human eyes stare at you from the center of the shape. And the voice of your mother comes from it. Never alone. Never alone.
Your choice. The door or hiking with half a foot. I don't care either way. You're kind of cute. Hate for you to get eaten.
I've been looking for her for so long. And I stand there and I stare at something that even Bridgett off camera has a hard time articulating right now because this is so beautiful and horrifying and sanity breaking. And then they look over to you, Arabella, and they smile, staggering on this one good foot. You're kind of cute too.
We end on an image of Daryl being pulled out of the snow unconscious, held close to Arabelle's chest. His heart is still beating. And you carry them back to your cabin. And that's where we end it. There it is. There's a sonata, everybody!
Holy shit!
Oh yeah.
What? So Graham's coming back.
You anytime, Bridgett.
Listen, Graham's coming back on. Amy is coming back on. They don't know it yet, but it's non-negotiable. Goddammit. Wow. I wish we were having a talk back for this because I could talk about. And that, Friends of the Symphony, is where our show ends for tonight. Thank you so much to everyone who joined in and or is currently watching the replay. You guys are indeed the best part of waking up, and we sincerely appreciate you. If you've enjoyed this content, please consider backing us on Patreon at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. Before we close out, let's talk to this symphonic cast one more again. Guys, tell us who you are, where people can find you, some of the things you do. Plug. Graham, hit us.
I'm Graham Gentz. I do a bunch of things. I write games. I run games. I try and make every space, every table I'm in, one that people want to come back to. I also co-host a game design podcast with the already shouted out Kyle Ott called Desks and Dorks, where I come in and largely make fun of him and come up with ideas about how to make games better.
He deserves it.
Yeah, so there you go. Check us out at desksanddorks.org, where Amy is the exceptional editor of all of Kyle's content.
And Amy, while we're there, hit us, baby.
Yeah, so like Graham said, I'm the editor for Desks and Dorks. I will also be taking care of some of the business stuff. So if you want to play test, anything like that for us, hit me up for sure. I am not great at having a consistent social media presence, but I am Cryptid Crafter on both Discord and Blue Sky right now. I'm Truth in Ames on Instagram, but find me somewhere that's easier to find me. Our Kickstarter is going to be coming out. It should be in November because we are going to be at Save Against Fear, the mental health and education RPG and gaming con. Yeah, this is fun. Damn, this was fun. Thank you for making my first live stream an epic success.
Guys, epic success is the understatement of the day because Graham ran the shit out of this. And Amy, welcome to the family because you're coming back. a lot.
Oh, hell yeah.
Get
Always
ready
for
boo.
you.
Woo! I wish we were having a talk back because this was incredible. This is my new favorite tool, the O tool that fits in perfectly with Symphony's thirst trapped anyways. Graham, these O's are for you. We hope you guys have enjoyed the Symphony and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful night, guys. Mwah. Thank you. Bye.